Hey everybody, welcome back to Three Swords Productions. If you're new to the channel, I'm Steven and this is Nate. Tonight, we're going to do commentary over Garp versus Blurple Crocodile.
Yeah, you've been playing a lot of Blurple, so it's been kind of fun watching it evolve.
It's been a lot of fun to win with and not a lot of fun to lose with. And tonight I'm featuring just that. Now, Garp is a really fun deck as well, so I don't feel quite so bad losing to Garp.
Yeah.
But Garp is so much fun too. Oh man. I'm going to have to get some games in with Garp too. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
All right, I'm back on the Garp side. You know what? We've learned from our mistakes, learned from our previous videos. We've seen some nice comments telling me how to play the deck, and I've learned.
I don't think that you've... but that's okay because you defeated me tonight. And so, like, opening up this hand here, I am holding the jack, so it's a pretty good opening for me. I'm going to take that and keep. I think I look at my opponent's... the jack is a really, really good start with Purple Crocodile, and in my build right here, I'm playing 4 copies of Jack and 2 copies of Promo Uda, so I am absolutely looking to ramp out some early Dawn, and offset the cost of those Dawn -1 effects that are more defensive, but do kind of... there's one issue with Purple Crocodile, and maybe I should just make a separate video about this, but it is set to, so that's okay. You are a deck that is playing really, really defensively, but the more defensively you play, the less you can do on the board.
Yeah.
Thanks to all the -1 cards. So it's really you want to just over defend that very last push, and then counter attack your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
It's that last thing that you really can't do.
Right.
So it does drop off towards the late game pretty hard, and that's really where you need to pick up. But unfortunately, Blurple Crocodile has some weaknesses, but it is still a really fun leader to play. And starting with Jack here really offsets a lot of the weaknesses. So I'm really looking forward to like a really powerful game with Crocodile.
Yeah, and I've liked the games I've played against it. They're pretty interesting because you're like doing these early turns, just kind of putting bodies on the board. And then you'll start playing things like kings to start swinging in your favor. And then once I try and like claw myself a little bit back into the game, you're able to counter out with a lot of events at the end. Then, so it's a really cool play pattern, I think, for like just being able to swing tempo into your favor as well. I like that a lot from your side.
Yeah, I mean, it lends itself well to my playstyle. And here we're holding 2 copies of Miss All Sunday, and we're going to need to get an event into the yard. Garp is going to be able to eat every copy of Miss All Sunday that I put on the table, so it's going to be hard to really build pressure and then use Sunday to kind of back me up. So we're going to throw down Uda here, and really this is about trying to whittle my opponent's hand down. We absolutely know they're going to kill the Uda quickly,
Yeah.
But we need to throw something out so that they're not just holding all those resources.
Yeah, and then from my side, looking to commit more to the board, but also pressure what he's got going on. You'll see I have 5-drop Garp there, and that's probably the best answer to the Uda that I got going on. We'll be able to probably drop that, kill the Uda, and then do something else with our turn here. Probably either holding the 1 Dawn open for an event or just equipping it and attacking in for an attack for 6.
Yeah, I mean, you're just holding cards, like Meteor Volcano, so that you could, equip 4 Dawn to your Garp and come across the table for damage, put me to 2, go ahead and put my Uda down to 0 cost as well, and just Great Eruption it. So, or Meteor Volcano. So you have a lot of lines open to you.
Yeah.
There are, multiple actions you could take. Here we're gonna just block with this Uda because I'm probably dying anyways, and the best I can do with it is get that Borsellino tapped.
I think so. I think that's reasonable. And there was a thought of, hey, should I, be doing this attack first versus playing out the Garp first? And I liked keeping a little bit of option up. I think I had another Borsellino in hand, so there's like an option here where I could just be playing that here instead. Now that you've committed to this, but yeah, okay. It looks like you're countering out with an overheat on it too, which is interesting.
It's going to let us put our Jack back in hand if we'd like. And putting the Jack back in hand opens up some more flexibility later on in the game to offset the -1 costs. Now, we do need cards that pressure your opponent and give those -1 costs in order for Jack to be playable. Unfortunately, we're not sitting on any of those yet, so we'll need to see. But anyways, we protect the Uda from this first attack. Garp will come down and go rested in order to destroy the Uda. We're going to pitch out with...
Yeah, my hand was pretty good on counters at this point.
Yeah.
So it was either like pitch something like a Borsellino, which could be a good body later, or something Sakazuki or something. Maybe I can't exactly see what's. But all my counters were 2Ks. I didn't have any 1K counters that were just sitting around.
When your opponent discards Otama, you're not thinking in this.
No, I don't think you're ever thinking that.
Thinking the opponent's got a really solid grip there. And on Blurple Crocodile side, we're gonna untap Dawn here. Takes us up to 7, so we have a few options in our hand. Again, it's a lot of Miss All Sundays and not a lot of action to play. This would be a pretty good turn to establish a threat. Of course, Udo would have been pretty good here as well.
Queen as well.
Queen as well, but the Garp is doing stuff, so we're going to come across for... Honestly, the way the game is working out right now, that would not have been an upsetting... just all Dawn, go with the 5-cost Garp or the Borsellino because we really need to get your board under control.
I agree. And I was actually also okay with this because now at this point, you haven't committed like another creature to attack back at me with. Right. So I'm able to just kind of like, hey, I'll play the turn again, I'll commit my body, and then this will be in the way for you to have to deal with.
Yeah. So, I mean, one cool thing about Borsellino in this matchup is it is going to get around a lot of my character destruction abilities. Looking at you, King. But the King comes down and has a 7K body, and that is really going to pressure the 6K Borsellino enough, right?
Yeah.
And that's all it needs to do. It doesn't need to destroy something, on play. But we're really struggling here with just the Miss All Sunday comes down. It's going to rely a lot on our leader to attack, to make these bigger attacks. So, unfortunately, a second Borsellino comes down, and that's going to be a really nice blocker here. And I like this turn because, you don't give me anything that I can attack with my leader. So either this is going to be a turn that I establish a threat, or I'm going face, and I don't know that I want to go face.
Yeah, I don't know that you want to go face either. I am still at 4 life, so there's like a reasonable chance that you want to just drain me of resources. But I think attacking does make sense at least. You want to have that at least the one dump behind so you can get your event triggers. And I was able to shockwave out of this one at 8K, which is a slight feel bad because it does get rid of the blocker. You get back the overheat, obviously, but probably we're counting on some amount of the blocker.
Was I counting on the Miss All Sunday as a blocker?
Yeah.
No, not really.
Okay.
I think almost everything in your deck kills the Miss All Sunday. I think it was going to be Shockwave on that attack? No, I actually thought that you would want that damage coming across as your deck that's going to be kind of hungry on resources. So I was like, I'm going to swing for 8 just so that he can't kind of free block. It threatens the Borsellinos at least. But I think he does ultimately want to take. I just don't have any other threats to back it up with. So it would look really silly if I swung for 6 and then I didn't actually deal. So I did make the attack for 8 there. Having the blocker, it would be different, but it would not really improve my hand. So.
Yeah, my thought in that attack was...
Another 5-cost Garp comes down, and that's just so brutal. I really like those Garps in this matchup. It's going to really contest almost everything in this iteration of Blurple Croc. We're really playing a lot of queens in the deck, and that's a lot of like what we are building our house on is the 5-cost, the 6-cost, and the 7-cost, and that's right in the sweet spot for Garp to take down with your leader.
Yeah, I agree.
So I like that 5-drop. That might be one of my favorite cards in your entire deck for this matchup.
I think so. Yeah, it looks like you come across, and I am able to counter out. I just want to protect the Borsellino. He's getting in a. This is the squeeze for Purple Croc. He's got to commit things to the board to start buying back his board presence, but he needs to leave Dawn open to hold up events so he doesn't die. And being able to keep this Borsellino around for another turn, be able to have just another attack, forces him to make a decision of okay, am I committing a creature to the board or a character to the board, and then I'm going to have less counter power available, or am I going to just protect myself this turn? What else I can do? Queen plays a little bit of a middle role there because you're able to pitch out maybe an event that would be otherwise awkward to instead be able to have a blocker in play. But again, like we said, blockers are obviously pretty easily removable, especially by the Garp that's on the board already.
So I took this line A to filter my hand. We are looking for another threat or king or something like that because we need to establish our board back. Mihawk would have been very nice as well. So another thing too is that you're down to 2 cards in. Now you just drew up to 3.
Yep.
So you're holding 3 right now. But the 5-cost Garp is going to trash a card out of your hand. It's not free. So I can then use my leader to more effectively attack your board down, especially since you are required to rest your Garp. That is one way to attack you. So playing the queen out does actually act as that duality of, yes, it's filtering my hand to get me closer to the cards I want, but it's also establishing a way for me to break through your board.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is really, really slow to do this, but it does open up a line where I don't otherwise have one.
Yep. And when you're thinking about attacks against Blurple Croc, there's pretty much two trains of thought. It's either I'm going to attack for a 5k, and he's either going to pitch a card or he's going to use an event. Both are okay options. Or I'm going to attack for 9k. That gets around the Love Beams or the Blast Breaths, and he's not going to be able to. He's going to have to still use 2 cards to counter out at that point.
Yeah, what's fun is exactly what you said. When Blurple Croc has Dawn open, it comes down to a different math. For most math in One Piece, you're looking at 5k for 1 card or 7k for 2 cards.
Yep.
But against Blurple Croc, it's not. It's 5k for 1 card and 9k for 2 cards.
Yeah.
So, you just have that inherent value just for playing your leader. It's fun.
And you've got the interesting part of, hey, I've got events that are 0 cost in the Gum Rains.
Yeah, the Rains are so cool. And I'm looking for the purple card in set 3 as well to go in.
Sure.
We'll have even more.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to play 8. I think I'm just going to switch over to the purple one just for a little bit more variety.
But yeah, no, that also just mucks with the math sometimes. Sometimes you want to swing for 8k, so you make that awkward, but doesn't ever feel good swinging for 8k generally because that's not the best number because it could just be 2 cards also in a different form.
What's also interesting with the 0 drop is the filtering that you can. Because it changes the number of cards in your hand dramatically, it actually is 2 cards that you're playing instead of just 1. You can more easily trigger the Crocodile ability. And I know I'm not a really big fan of that Ivankov style. Yeah, I can draw 2 cards if I spend all of my resources. I really don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do like is being able to cycle cards that are for certain matchups and not for others. And the Rains do that.
Yeah.
And that feels really nice.
I agree.
I was able to pitch out Uda when it wasn't useful. There's just so many ways in this deck to that will actually manipulate the size of your hand. Love Beams, Jacks, Udas, your Gum Rains rather.
Yep.
It just feels so fluid when you're playing the deck and it's actually working for you. The only thing that I want more of in this build is threats. We do need some threats. And I'm kind of feeling that against the black deck.
Yeah, it's also Borsalinos are awkward too because like we said, kings can't remove them, so I have to only attack them. It's my only way out of being able to answer these things. Definitely makes it slightly awkward.
My hand right now is one of those hands that you're really celebrating as you look at it and say, "Wow, that's 2 Love Beams."
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna draw a lot of cards from that. Each one most likely representing drawing 2 cards.
Yep, and I'm just coming in for my attacks to force cards out of hand, pitch Rain out of Rain. You're able to draw a card because it does pitch a card, so nice filtering there. And then you get the turn back. 2 Level Beams will be able to get you out of a lot, but again, you need to put something on the board. It's a bit of a problem right now. It looks like you're just kind of not hitting it.
Yeah, so I'm holding a Shiki. I could put that on the table. It is I believe it's a 3K.
It is.
That is something. And I probably just punted by not playing that out onto the table.
I'm not even sure.
It's difficult. It's a really difficult.
That's not
situation.
a body that's winning you the game. I'm still at 4 life, so you need to attack my board. And that's not going to be great at attacking my board.
Borsalinos are 6K, so even the Shiki is going to require 6, and then you counter out. But you really can't counter out is the thing. You're down to 2 cards. You're going to need that for any removal that you want to play. So. Yeah, I do think there's some merit to playing the Shiki, right? Because it gives me a second attacker, which is what I'm desperately in need of right now. Just to clear your board and kind of... Because as soon as I break your board, you don't have much else going. It becomes 15k swings with your leader, which, okay, that's a lot, but it gives me the room that I need in order to break through. Suddenly my blockers do stuff. Suddenly the characters that I play matter. That's the breathing room that I need. So maybe playing out the Shiki was useful. Who knows?
And the Love Beam train continues as you draw more and more cards.
Let's go. This is another big attack, and I think I'm going to fold to that one.
You would Love Beam
so 9K
draw a
here.
card.
I need a 1K. I still need a 1K because you
Yeah.
swung for 9. I don't have one,
And
and I
King
just
is not
I
it,
just
yeah.
picked up King, and unfortunately, even though I had quite a few pieces of removal, we're going to switch back over real quick. But
Yep.
even though I had the pieces of removal, I didn't have enough done to spend it all.
Right.
So, all right, let's go back to the booth. All right. I mean, that was a fun one. It was
Yeah.
really tough there at the end, and it kind of showcases, like, yeah, you can have all the defensive power in the entire world. Don't have pressure on the board to back it up or to keep even tempo with your opponent.
Right.
You're just going to fall behind. That's what we saw there. And that's kind of why, Blurple Crocodile being like one of the most unique abilities in One Piece, as well as, in my opinion, one of the strongest ones, it's just not good enough, right? You don't have the threats.
Yeah, definitely a problem. I think we pretty much finished this game up, and you said, it would be good Mihawks, and then we tried to like maybe test a little bit of Mihawks, which were okay too also.
Yeah, you just need some kind of top end that doesn't minus Dawn or something. There's a lot of good top ends out there,
Yeah.
so it's still a lot of testing to be done with this leader. And I do love that so much about set 2 is that we are sunsetting it, but at the same time there's still things to be learned. You could still go in. We haven't played much Garp. We haven't played much Blurple Croc. We were talking about playing Blurple Kaido tonight and getting really, really excited about that deck
right.
because
It was interesting.
there was a lot of conversation around the beginning of the format, but then it kind of got stale with meta reports.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of revisiting those leaders, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot of fun to be had outside of the meta. So,
Yeah. Some cool experiments to still be done, but we'll play around with some more here and see what we can find in these last few weeks in set 2.
that's right. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you're still here, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.